I'm just so excited. NFL Draft Week is here.
Yay, it's here.
Hosting an NFL draft coverage on NFL Network for the 22nd time.
Wow,
on
22nd.
Night.
Congrats, man. That's
excited.
awesome.
No, it's great. And going. And counting.
And going.
I intend to do it in Pittsburgh next year and so on and so forth.
We'll be there. We'll be there in Pittsburgh with you, Rich.
Am I undercutting your point?
I'm trying to hype you up, man.
Okay, thank you. And it's just so exciting. Rumors flying everywhere.
Rumors flying all over the place. Gotta love it.
And a couple of rumors that I've heard.
Look at all these rumors
I care to share with
around
you.
me every
because
day.
I know what you like, Chris.
This is the waters that I like to travel in, man.
That's what I do. I know things.
Thank you.
Rumors and innuendo.
Thank you.
There you go.
It makes me the Tyrion Lannister of the draft. I had no idea.
I even removed the drinking part.
Look at you.
I mean, you didn't have to, I guess.
We are going to Green Bay. There should be some beers flowing.
We're going to house bars. People hit us up.
Okay. So a couple of things that I'm hearing. And
go on.
This one might not raise to the level of shock or awe.
What you got? What you got?
And this is the neat part about it. Because it involves the Jacksonville Jaguars. The one franchise that I hear from the most, because they believe we at NFL Network disrespect them and have zero concern for their future or their thought processes. To the point where we always take a commercial break right before their pick.
Oh, boy.
They're on the clock. It's time to take a break.
Oh, Lordy.
Now, I have been told that we are going to be on the air for a considerable amount of time on Thursday night for the first few picks. I am going to say it cannot. The first commercial break cannot be when the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. If it is, though, then we're just having a wink and a nod of fun here.
Oh, Lord.
Patriots select, and then we'll be right back.
But listen, I'm hearing, Chris, as much as you want the Ashton Genty
so badly.
I'm hearing the Patriots love, adore Will Campbell and are going to do the sensible thing, which is protect the kid before giving him a weapon to protect him with a run game. That might not materialize because the offensive line isn't equipped to do that either.
And it worked out for Joe Burrow, right?
Where they went with Chase over Penei Sewell.
Yeah.
I'm hearing the Patriots are going to do the sensible thing and go Will Campbell out of LSU. And that Cam Ward and Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter and Will Campbell will be the first four picks in the draft. And then everybody's like, well, then it should definitely be Mason Graham, 5th overall. And that does make sense that they take this kid out of Michigan who I've seen personally and is worthy of the 5th overall pick in this draft.
Okay.
I'm hearing that the Jacksonville Jaguars could go anywhere with this thing.
Like a certain running back from Boise?
It could be, I don't know, Genty or this kid Derek Harmon out of Oregon. Everybody is going nuts.
That would be interesting. That would shake
Remember
it
back
up.
in the day, everyone's like, they're going to take the Michigan kid and Aiden Hutchinson, and then they didn't.
They took the Georgia kid, which maybe they take the other Georgia kid now.
Well, they could take
Jalen
Walker to go with their other Walker. I don't know. Or they could take an Oregon kid over a Michigan kid and leave Mason Graham on the board, which I don't know if that would give pause to the Raiders or not. But I don't know.
The Raiders, though.
This could be the first major wrinkle. Obviously, the first major wrinkle would be Shedeur Sanders going 3rd overall to the Giants. But I've been told
some people have been talking about him.
Jacksonville may not do what everybody thinks they're going to do. And then I'm hearing Jackson Dart falls out of the first round, too.
Ooh.
Really? I could see that.
I mean, I don't know what to make of it. You hear crazy stuff like Shedeur Sanders. There's some teams that don't even have a first-round grade on him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, a lot of people say like Dart is quarterback 2 in this draft.
I don't know if this is based on Dart not going to Green Bay. That could have been one of those things that they knew he wasn't going to Green Bay, but the announcement came out and it sounded like he changed at the last minute because he's hearing he's not going to be in the draft room. That he's going to be in the draft room, all night.
This is getting crazy.
Jalen Milroe is going. And he's got the same situation where he could be a second rounder. And he could be coming back on Friday night to stick around in Green Bay. I don't know. The number of people that are just talking about this quarterback class, no one's sold on it.
Nobody believes in him.
I've heard that. It would be wild if 4 quarterbacks go in the first round anyway.
And
I still think
maybe one of them will make it.
Likely.
The fact that we're in draft week now, and we are now inside that 5-day
and
window
nobody's
for the
traded
draft.
into the first round.
And the reason why we're mentioning 5 days here is because the last time we have not seen a single trade involving the first round.
Not one. This is the
NFL
longest
draft.
it's gone.
The longest we've seen, the last time we've seen this length of time go without a first round draft choice being sold,
It's
or
crazy.
acquired, was when Joe Montana went to the Chiefs 5 days before that draft in '93. And here we are now this close. And the reason why you're not seeing any of these picks traded in the first round
because nobody believes in them.
Maybe people are not sold on the quarterbacks. You can get one at the end of the first round. It seems more likely to me that there will be a trade involving a draft choice in the first round in the bottom 10 of this first round than the top 10 of this first round.
Yes, very much so.
Because of that.
Tell them,
these
Rich.
quarterbacks
Tell
fall,
them.
and there are teams like the Browns and the Giants
They don't believe in them.
sitting there, maybe the Raiders at the top of the second round saying, we're going to trade back into the first round and get that 5th year of contractual control for a quarterback. That's more likely than somebody trading into the first round top 10 to draft a quarterback.
It's crazy.
Big time. And so, I don't know.
I don't know either, but here's what I do know. Oh, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. We are counting down to the draft, and tomorrow, I will be joining my son, Philly 500, Game Time Brian, and I don't know who from the Commanders. I don't know who. If Game Time comes in, let me know, because it was supposed to be Louis T in the house, but I think Louis T had another thing, and I think Game Time was actually talking about Momo, and I'm not sure if he really wants to have Momo, because having Momo can be kind of dangerous, because Momo, you know what you get with Momo. You know what you get. Oh, he's got to leave now. Look, you see that? Oh, I just got him on black. Oh, wait a minute. I'll be right back. I got to leave right now. See how them Commander fans are? Oh, there's no rivalry. We're superior. We're superior to y'all. Y'all just. No. That's talking about showing some ass. Before we get into it, we got to say hello to the lovely ladies. Shout out to Lady Libra. Always on both sides. Appreciate you, Lady Libra. We've got, of course, Halle Pierce. Oh, boy. And we got Help Me Rhonda in the house. What's going on? And, of course, we have the hot sauce. And I'm burning for you. Yeah, what about Rio? I don't know who. Hey, this is his show. This is his show, man. Not mine. It's Game Time show. So he'll figure out who he wants to have on there and so on. Now, we, of course, have the draft. And, I have to stop complaining about the Cowboys. Forgive me. I'm trying to get my thoughts here together. I have been blessed and cursed by being a Dallas Cowboy fan and YouTuber, because in the same way that Micah Parsons can look and see Shannon Sharpe is going to get $100 million podcast, even though half of that he's being sued for sexual. We'll get into that too. But the fact that because he is a Dallas Cowboys player and possibly YouTuber, that you get a lot more play. I'm an idiot. I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm an idiot. I'm not a draft expert. I'm not a football expert. I'm Joe the fan who lives and dies with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know that I'd have 137 subscribers. I'm sorry, 136, 977 subscribers if I were a New York Giant YouTuber or a Tampa Bay or a Jacksonville YouTuber. I have all these people because of the Dallas Cowboys. And so I got to be thankful that Jerry Jones is crazy as he is and that he does stupid shit all the time and that people care. People care. Because if I were a San Francisco 49er YouTuber, right? If I was a San Francisco 49er YouTuber and I was talking about, Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy is greedy, man. He's not a team player. He just turned down $266 million contract. You know what? He's a bum. Just get him out of here. We can just draft somebody else. If I did a video like that, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Let me to that about Dak Prescott. Same situation. People are going to watch. So I've got to stop being mad at the Cowboys' dysfunction. Rhonda, my Cowboy sister, Lady Lieber, Rhonda, with all the shit I'm taking, I'm surprised I don't have a sexual assault charge. Well, you might, Dirty Sanchez, if we actually knew your name. Michelle is coming for the bag. Oh, you mean for Shay Shay. That was kind of crazy this morning. That was one of those ones. I did my morning video. When I do my morning video, I have to ingest, basically decode it or ingest it or whatever it is, convert it from the system here to make it so it can upload. So that takes like 10 minutes or so to do that, and then about another 10 or 15 minutes to go up to YouTube, and then of course I got to do the check. So I'll record my morning video, and actually people don't know I spend about an hour and a half prepping for doing that. But be that as it may, listening. And so I had done my morning video, and then I went through to the Twitter. Of course, you put on your boxing gloves and everything. You got to put on the headgear because you go on Twitter. Michael Dale Lewis Jr. Oh, is that it? Dirty Sanchez? Okay. He's looking for it. So I see this come across that Shannon Sharpe being sued for $50 million. And you got to remember, you can sue somebody for a ham sandwich. You can sue somebody for a ham sandwich, literally. And we saw last year. You remember last year when Dak Prescott was being held hostage, basically? The guy went on 105.3 The Fan, literally trashing Dak Prescott, and they were talking about he's a sexual predator, and they were suing him for $100 million. So Shay feel good. Well, Skip. She only sued me for $50 million. Dak Prescott, she wanted $100 million, Skip. But Shannon Sharpe, this one sounds like it's revenge. The more I started reading into what happened, that this was, they were in a relationship. I don't know what kind of relationship. When you got a lot of money and things and fame and stuff, they're going to be stepping out on you. They're going to be stepping out on you. Oh my God. See, okay. Don't tell my wife I've told you this story. Okay? Don't tell my wife I told you this story. But see, this was funny. This was funny because this happened just a couple hours ago, right? And Ward family in the house, Thomas Garrett in the house. What's going on? Welcome. And so I was looking at my wife, and I was trying to give her a sexy look. Now my dad, they used to call him Clark Gable because they said he would give the ladies that look, and it would just make them melt, right? And so I was trying to give my wife the sexy look. And she busted out loud. She's like, what's wrong with you? I said, baby, I'm giving you my sexy look. She's like, she's just cracking up, right? Okay. I said, okay. I said, hey, baby. Okay, I tell you what, baby. Why don't you give me man, you looking good, honey. Look. She's like, I don't do that. I said, I know. But just pretend that you try to do it. And she gave it to me. She kind of, when I went up and all that, I was like, are you having a seizure? Okay. So it was like, we can't ever leave each other. We'd be in a world of trouble if we had to go out there and date and stuff. I can see us now in the club. Baby, it's like, oh, he's kind of weird and creepy. Ew. And I can see him calling on Tracy, somebody call an ambulance. So, yeah, when you get old, you don't have those problems. So we're happy that we have each other. After 20-some years of together, we know we're too lazy to do the paperwork. We're just too lazy to do that. And we know we got no chance with nobody. Nobody else wants us. And we've been out the game too long. And all this stuff that you got going on here now with the dating and having to use the apps and everything else. And for me, you don't know what you're getting when you're dating these days, man. With the Brazilian butt lifts and the fake eyelashes and all the makeup, you don't know what the hell you're taking home. You don't. So seriously. Okay. But be that as it may. So Shannon Sharpe, he's got this thing going. And so when I heard about the Instagram post that she did, I thought that was the Instagram video where he's, taking care of business, getting freaky on. But that's not the woman who's suing him. So apparently he slipped up and ended up doing the Instagram story where he was getting busy, and she kind of got jealous. This is what speculation is, or at least this is what I'm sitting there thinking, because you've been in a relationship with him, and she says, well, he expects me to be there when he says to be there. Well, okay, it's a booty call. Baby, I need you right now. Okay, I get that from my wife. Let my wife say, Mark, I need. It's like, what you need? I need you. It's like, well, what you need? What you need? You better come running. You better come run. You better be there. Don't say I'll be there in a few minutes. Oh, and don't let it be something that, like, the trash got to go out. Don't let her have to go take the trash out, because she'll do it, and then you in the doghouse. So that's the way it works. So that one, I skip. I'm kind of like, this sounds like when you didn't say it needed to go to criminal court, and to hear the whole thing of, when I was trying to put my location on Instagram, you better put that. I look, we've all said some shit. You better put that shit down. I'll kill you. You do that shit. Not really meaning that we're actually going to kill them. But you know what I mean? Don't be doing that shit. Are you crazy? Putting out my addresses. Actually, my wife right now. My wife has just about killed me because she's like, you put too much information out there and stuff out there. People know where we are and who you are and shit like this. Like, okay. So maybe I should sue her for $50 million. What you think? But the bottom line is this. You have to understand, you have a short window of time to be there in the NFL. And while you are there, you have the biggest target on your back of Easy Street. Tyreek Hill. Can we all say right now that we know that brother's going to be broken, 5 years after being in the NFL? Can we all just say that right now? The fact that you are married and you got 5 other women pregnant in 1 year, all the alimony that you're going to be paying, and they're judging that on what you make right now. That's why T.O. is broke. He got all these children and things. He ain't making money, but he still got to pay all the child support. Bro, wake up. Stop going to the club and making it rain for $1 million in a weekend. That shit ain't going to last. So that whole thing's what My day was better. Well, Momo, I don't know if Momo, are you? I know you're gonna have a rough day on Thursday, but the invitation is there if you want to come over to the house. I got to do a lot of work in the house when I get back up on Wednesday because it's a mess. I know it's a mess. I got to get the grill cleaned up and everything else. But seriously, you literally have professional women that are professional daters of athletes. You have professional women that are looking to make sure that you become their baby's daddy. That their whole life is, I'm training to get my NBA or NFL man. And you can't fall into the trap. I remember when Ainsley Battles, former Jacksonville Jaguar and Pittsburgh Steeler, when I had Demario Davis, I think it was 2017, at my house, cooked dinner for him. He was down in the man cave. We had Ainsley Battles. And Ainsley was talking about one of the backup quarterbacks, and he had a fine-looking girlfriend and everything else, and he got cut. And he was like, "Come on, honey, let's go." And she's like, "You got cut." Within a day, she was with another dude on the team. There ain't no loyalty in this game. They will use you. And when they can't use you anymore, you're gone. All right, so here's an interesting one. I'm so tired of all of the fake stories or speculation that comes across like it's actually women can be real. Oh, well, men can be too. The real one fan. Listen, I'm just saying, you got to be more careful. You've got to be having a little more common sense and understand that that money ain't going to be there forever, and you need to save some money for a rainy day. Speech impediment. Okay, Bobby B, welcome to the channel. Never seen you here before, okay? I'm a 59-year-old man who used to do some illegal shit. I was the hot man on special teams on kickoffs, which meant I sprinted down the field 40 yards, full speed, and put my head into a group of 5 guys trying to bust a wedge, okay? I have dyslexia. If you are here because of my speech or lack thereof or speech impediment, feel free to take your mother humping ass out. What you see here is what you get. Ain't nobody else complaining about it, bro. Only you. Now, if you choose to stay, great. Welcome. Have fun. But understand, I am a name butcher. I screw up names. Don't read real well as far as sounding out names. That's a fact. But if you need a house built that's fallen to the ground, I can take care of it. Can definitely do that. So, calling me, we know who you are, Bobby V. Bobby V, go ahead. We know you are hater number one, and you keep trying to get on. But you know what? It's funny that you've been trying to troll me and stop me for how many years now? How many years, bro? Guess what? I'm still here, bro, and I ain't going nowhere. All right, so we get all of the fake news or speculation. It used to be that when people put stuff out, there was some credibility to it. Okay, I got killed. Y'all remember I got killed about Earl Thomas. I got a tip that the Cowboys were looking at Earl Thomas. I don't know how many of y'all remember it, but they tried to cancel me. Literally had other Cowboys YouTubers that were literally going to like Law Nation and saying, you shouldn't work with him because he's a clickbaiter. He's lying to Cowboys. I literally had people making threats and saying I better not show up in Dallas because they were going to kick my teeth in. And then Mike Fisher, there's nothing to this. Okay. Funny how 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, the Cowboys were trading for Earl Thomas. But they gave me so much crap. But now every day we've got Dak Prescott to Cleveland, Dak Prescott to the Steelers, T.J. Watt traded to the Cowboys, Micah Parsons is going to be traded. It's just like it goes on and on and on and on. And it's just kind of like a lot of them, they don't even make sense, some of the ones, okay? So here's a new one that we're hearing now, that the Cowboys are urged to trade for wait for it, Jameson Williams. Now, Jameson Williams, it is thought that the playmaking wide receiver who's going into his fourth year is possibly tradable. The Dallas Cowboys have been linked to the top 2 wide receiver prospects in the NFL draft with Tat McMillan, or Teat. Sorry, I say Tat. And see, this is where I get somebody that keeps saying, who's Tat? Tat, Teat, Teat, Tat, 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 Teat, 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 Tat, 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 Tat. Okay? You know who I'm talking. McMillan, the best wide receiver prospect out there. And Matthew Golden, the Golden Child, as their top 2 prospects. With the draft approaching, feeling has shifted. The Cowboys suggest they should trade back, and they're showing interest in several offensive linemen. That may be a smokescreen because the perfect complement to CeeDee Lamb might be made available and are being urged to trade for Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams, of course, who, like I said, is going into his fourth year. Last year, a great season, 58 catches, 1,001 yards, 17.3 yard average per reception. The year before, 354 yards. The year before that, 41. Has had some suspensions along the way and is a really good wide receiver. The thought is that the Lions may put the fifth-year option on him, but not want to do a long-term deal, in which case he might be traded. Now, the Lions haven't come out like Miami said with Jalen Ramsey that we'd like to trade him. This is just more speculation. There is a belief leading to the thought that he could be traded. Okay. Again, Alex, I will be live streaming the draft like I have been every year since, let's see. I'm trying to think of the first year that I probably did was, I remember we had Philly 500. Because, see, I was groundbreaking. I had the Philly Meltdown Cam, and I remember when they drafted Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts and stuff. And Philly had his meltdown and stuff. So I've been doing them every year. Now, some years I've been actually at the draft, and we've done it live. I did it live from Kansas City in the crowd. We did it live last year in Detroit, although the signal was not good the first night. The second night was much better. But, yes, we will be live doing the draft. So I hope you tune in. Now everybody does a draft show, so there's a lot of competition out there. It used to be, it was just kind of like me, Law, and Vash and stuff, and that was about it. But now, everybody does. So things change over the course of time. So that's another one of these ones. So don't go and get a wide receiver in the first round. Trade for Jameson Williams. Okay. What I would like about something like that would be a guy you could plug in right now and know that he's going to be able to play. Because there's a lot of times we have hype out there. Now, we got hype that, Teat McMillan and him and Matthew Golden, that those two guys are going to be great. But with Matthew Golden, he kind of had like a real big flash, but then when they got to Ohio State, he kind of disappeared. And, when you start thinking about players that were drafted like Jonathan Mingo was a second-round drafted wide receiver. Mingo, the reason why he was traded for a fourth was he hadn't really showed up. And the thing is we hear all the draft experts, they tell you why these guys are going to be great, and they're can't-miss guys. But so many of them, they end up missing on. Especially when you get to the quarterbacks. Now, Katarina Kiss. Mwah. What's up, Katarina? How you doing tonight? Appreciate you being here. Did I miss any other ladies in the place that have come through? I'm sorry. I've kind of got, the whole thing about thinking about the sexy look for my wife and everything else. My mind is just kind of turned to crap. And then I had, of course, the troll in here just basically telling I'm stupid and things. So, it kind of gets you off the block some. Bobby V. Okay. Shout out to Gina for putting him in timeout. But be that as it may, I can understand where teams are looking at Sedor and Jackson Dart. It's kind of like the worst time to buy your car is if your car broke down and you got to go to work tomorrow. If your car broke down and you have to go to the car dealership to buy a car and they know you need a car, that hoopty starts looking a lot better than, would be. And you start all of a sudden thinking, I got to get this car. I got to go to work. And that's when they go ahead and they screw you over. You're going to pay a higher interest rate. They're going to put some extras on there and you're going to get screwed. The best time to get something is when you don't need it. That's when you can take your time. You can look at it. You can make a good decision. But right now, you got teams like Pittsburgh is literally held hostage. They're literally held hostage by Aaron Rodgers. They don't know. You've got New Orleans, which has turned into a bad organization since Drew Brees has left, and they can't seem to get a quarterback. Derek Carr has always been like a car crash. And now all of a sudden, he's not wanting to play for them and he's got shoulder problems. And so now you're looking and saying, we need a quarterback. I don't feel like Jackson Dart's going to be a great quarterback. I mean, I could be wrong. But I'm looking at that and saying, is he going to be, Joe Montana or is he going to be Josh Rosen? And we've had drafts. Think about the draft 2021. You've had Trevor Lawrence. You had Zach Wilson, number 2. And then you had Trey Lance. And then you had Justin Fields at 11. And right now, how you feel about those guys? Trevor Lawrence, he got paid the big money to stay in Jacksonville, but he's got more turnovers than just about anybody right now since he's been in. Sedor, yeah, the Raiders could draft Sedor, but I don't know that. I think there's a better chance that the Raiders take Genty, because I look at that as say it's Pete Carroll loves Geno. He loves Geno, and he loves a running back, and he loves a great running back, and that would be a great way to get things started with the Raiders. I really think that that's where he goes. Raiders might be good enough to be Milton's backup. Oh, Rodgers might be good enough to be right. Okay, laugh out loud. I'm excited how Milton does in preseason. It's funny because time the Cowboys sign a quarterback, they become the great quarterback hope for the Cowboys. It's crazy because, I don't remember anybody going crazy about how great Milton was until he came to Dallas. And again, the blessing and the curse of being a Dallas Cowboy YouTuber. Now, for me, I think you can get a quality wide receiver that will make an impact for you outside of the draft. But I feel like you must get the running back in the draft. The crazy Milton isn't even in front of Will Grier. I know. That's what I keep saying to people, Joe. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to chase. Oh, man. Butt plug hurts. Lola? Well, I tell you what, why don't you take your stinking ass to a stinking ass Eagles fan podcast and prick that shit over there? I could help you along if you keep on. Damn, damn dirty, who you going balls deep on? Lamar Samuel L. Jackson. We may need a left tackle. Yeah, we may need a left tackle. Yes, this is true. But we may also need a guard. We may also need a wide receiver. We also need a running back. We also need possibly a tight end. We also need a cornerback. So what's your point there, Eagle fan? We the ones. All right. To me, here's where we've been getting Cowboys linked to Cowboys should trade for DeAndre Swift. Now, here's my theory, and you can call me an idiot if you want to, and that's fine. You wouldn't be the first one. But I believe that typically year number 4, running backs, that's the peak. That's not to say that Derrick Henry and Saquon haven't been the exception to the rule, but typically most of these mid-level running backs peak around year 4. You can look at Zeke Elliott. By year 4, he was always just straight downhill. After year 4, it was straight downhill. So it behooves you to draft a running back in the draft young before they get the miles on them and plug them in, and they're cheap. It even behooves you, and this is where I'll say, if Genty does start falling, to me, it would be worthwhile to trade up for him if you believe that he is really everything that they say he is. The reason being is if you get a running back in the first round, that means you got 5 years of them. You've got the 5th-year option. Lisa, what's up, Lisa? Welcome, Lisa. Nice to see you, girl. Hope you're doing great. Ratio, what's going on? Philly D, what's going on, Philly D? Let's talk about, like, say, DeAndre Swift, because people are saying, oh, man, we should go get DeAndre Swift, man, and trade for him. But here's the thing. DeAndre Swift had a great year in 23 with the Eagles. He goes to the Bears, 4.6 yards per carry. The year before with the Lions, he had 5.5 yards a carry. He goes to the Bears. Granted, they're a much worse team, but now all of a sudden it's 3.8. He drops almost a yard per carry. You talk about Miles Sanders. You can look at his numbers, the same thing. With Philly, his 4th year at Philly, he was getting 74.6 yards a game, averaged 4.9 yards a carry. But then Carolina, I know it's a bad team, but you don't drop a yard and a half solely on being on a bad team. And it was 3.7 last year. So I'm not sold that Miles Sanders is still that viable. Again, he's been in for 6 years. This is 7 years. So to me, you got to get that running back that's young, stud, plug him in, that's a primo running back. That's my case for getting running back over wide receiver. I feel like if you had to, maybe you do have to make a trade for Jameson Williams or Keenan Allen, you can sign there and be okay. But I don't see us being any better making a trade for DeAndre Swift. I don't see them being as good as a young, high-projected running back. I just don't. But that's my personal opinion. Now, some of the mock drafts, we the ones, just saying you may need to trade back and draft. Yes, and I agree with you, we the ones, and appreciate the super chat. So we're going to put you in our drawing for the Zach Martin plaque that's there. Appreciate the super chat. Yes, trading back could be advantageous, but you have to have somebody who sees something that they want. From what most people are saying about this draft is you've got Cam Ward, you've got, of course, Abdul Carter, you've got Travis Hunter, you've got those guys. You've got like 5 or 6 guys that are really good and are head and shoulders above everybody else. But then they say basically 10 to 40, there's not a lot of difference. So unless somebody is really locked in and they say, oh, my God, this guy really fell, he's high on my draft board, you're probably not going to have anybody trade for anybody. This is the first time we've gotten this close to the draft that nobody has made a trade in the first round. Nobody. That says we don't really believe that there's any advantage to trading up for one of these guys than it is just staying where we are. So I agree. If it's not Tet is not there, if Genty is not there, I'm still not quite sold on Golden because he's a little bit shorter. He's 5'11". He's fast, and they say he's a great route runner. But I'd like to have a bigger target. Then if it comes around, somebody wants to trade with you, I'd be all in with that. I definitely would be all in. But I must get a running back in this draft in the first 2 rounds. I have to. Giants have a great opportunity for good drafts. Well, they do. They do every year, and it seems like they screw it up more times than not. I'm just saying. They've had some real stinkers in the draft. Now, mock draft wise, some of the latest ones we've gotten, of course, pretty much everybody is pretty much stuck. It would be a major shock if Cam Ward did not go to the Tennessee Titans. I think we can all agree on that one, that he is head and shoulders above everybody else, and Tennessee definitely needs a quarterback. I think we can agree on that one. Deshaun Jackson was 5'10". Yes, this is true, Deshaun Jackson. But and so was Brandon Cooks. But, I'm not saying that they're not great, but I personally have a preference, okay? I personally have a preference for taller wide receivers. And I also have a preference of taller women with a nice booty. Now, maybe, the Real One fan, you like a short and squatty woman and everything else with a great big rack and stuff. That's your personal preference. My preference is a taller woman with, a nice peach. Everybody has their own personal preferences. Or I should say that my personal preference is Miss Tracy, who looks like she's having a seizure when she's trying to look sexy. Okay. Tony Lopez, how are you doing? Asman, Mark, can't we draft a player that we used to work? Oh, no, we're not drafting any players that used to work at Pink's, okay? He's talking about who's talking about, wait, who's talking about your saggy bits there? Lola? Cowboys should trade back and if Genty's not there. Again, you've got to have somebody who wants to trade back with you. Okay. Cleveland, the Doo-Doo Browns. I think it's Travis Hunter. I think that you look at that, and that's the guy that you look and say, although his girlfriend is seemingly a gold digger, but that is a guy who you got options with him. That would be the perfect player for Catboy because, we believe in position flex. We like players that can play multiple positions. And with Travis Hunter, we'd get a cornerback, we'd get a wide receiver, and that means I could save me some money because that means I don't have to get another outstanding wide receiver. Don't know about you, Mark, but I think Dallas should trade for DK Metcalf. DK was just traded to the Steelers. They're not going to trade him again, bro. It's too late for that one. And I think he was he a first? What did they give up for? I can't remember what they gave up for him, but I think it was a first. DK don't want to play second. But Dan, at the moment, DK may be wondering, who the hell is going to be throwing to me? Who the hell is going to seriously? And then and the other part of it is when you're traded, you ain't got no choice. She's a gold digger as they go. Yeah, she really is. And that's where he needs to go ahead and do one of those ones that, okay, we're done and move on. All right. If Travis Hunter goes deuce, okay, you know that the Giants are not going to take Sedor. They're going to take Abdul Carter and put him on that defense. That defense will get scary. Now, could I see Abdul going to Cleveland? Sure. And then Travis. But we know that those three are definitely the ones. New England, you got to think would go offensive tackle or trade back. Rhonda, rack controversy. Oh, you know what? Oh, Lordy. I'm about to get myself in trouble. We're all grown here, right? We don't have any little kids or anything in here, right? This is, again, my personal preference, okay? Ladies, don't change yourself. Don't do that Brazilian butt lift thing. Y'all heard about the Brazilian butt lift smell, right? They said that I have no experience with it or anything like that, though. But they say that from they're taking they're doing the lipo from your stomach They putting this big ass needle and they're scraping the fat out. Now here's the thing. More women have complications and death from the Brazilian butt lift than any other cosmetic procedure. Because it's actually very dangerous that if you end up hitting certain things in there, I think, the spine or the stuff, that people die from it. But not only that, they say that because it's literally the fat that's in there and everything else, and you got to do the wrap and stuff for days and things, and you got a lot of stuff that's going on there, because we all know there's a lot of stuff that's going on there to begin with, that it's kind of like, what's that smell? Okay, don't do that. Don't do that, girl, ladies. And the same thing with up top. Breasts aren't made to be exactly identical popped up here. They're supposed to hang. They're supposed to be able to jiggle and things. Don't do that stuff to yourselves. You're beautiful the way you are. Don't do that stuff to yourself. Okay, please. God made you. Believe me, you beautiful. You don't need somebody to try and give you this unrealistic ideal and this, that, booty out like he's got his own zip code. Man, that ain't attractive. That ain't attractive. Sorry. Yeah, no. Hubby loves me natural. Yeah, and then you start hearing about, you got the fake doctors and stuff that are injecting all kinds of stuff in there, household grease and junk and things like that. And people are getting kind of screwed up because of it. Stop doing that to yourselves, okay? Stop. There's nothing wrong with saggy bits at all. Please don't do that to yourself. And that whole, Botox injections and stuff, where in the face. No, that's not attractive. It's not. Oh, nose ring. Yeah, I don't like the nose rings. I'm not crazy. Oh, that's not attractive. No. The duck lips. It's. Look, I'm sorry. You get the Brazilian butt lift. And then you get the implants in the sorry, bro. I'm waking up in the morning. My wife is beautiful. At least to me, my wife is beautiful. She don't wear a whole lot of makeup. I go to bed with the woman that I've been out with all day, and it's the same woman I wake up with. And I see that face. I don't see no fake, the eyelashes that are off or all this different makeup that you got to chisel off. No. I like to know. That's what I got. That's my woman. So, ladies, if you feel like you got to do all that crazy shit and endanger your life, don't do it for a man. No. Just don't get fat. Nah, ain't nothing wrong. You know what, Philly D? On them cold nights, it's nice to have a little, something to snuggle up with there, Gotta love those micro bikinis. Oh, Lord. Okay, we can get off the rails. But you got to think New England has got to get an offensive line together. Their offensive line stinks. So, Will Campbell should be there. This is where this channel just goes crazy. We got the draft in a couple of days, and we're talking about saggy boobies. I just, I don't know where Jeff is. But he says he likes movies. Casey, I model part-time, but at home, it's like I like to be me. Shout out to Casey Stewart. Casey, you're one of those naturally beautiful women. You don't need any makeup or anything else. You are fine. Don't do all that crazy shit. All right, Jacksonville. Probably will go defensive line. Best player that's still out there would be Mason Graham. And here's where I think our hearts get broken is with the Raiders. I think that they'll probably go running back. But I think they could be convinced to trade back. I think they could. Because they do have a bunch of needs, and Pete Carroll might be one to say, okay, I can get Genty or I can get myself a couple of number ones. Possibly. And if that happens, if he slips past there, then you have to think that the Cowboys. Oh, Holly tells me to choke my chicken. There we go. We choked the chicken for Holly. If he gets past the Raiders, the Cowboys would probably start having some discussions of moving up for Genty. You have to. You have to. If he starts to slide, you have to say, how far will he slide? And if we can move up, 2 or 3 spaces, then maybe we make that move. A lot of people have the Jets linked to Tyler Warren, the tight end. And then from that point, Carolina, which has traded away every receiver out there, I wouldn't be surprised if they took a wide receiver, but more consensus have Jalen Walker, the linebacker from Georgia, going there. New Orleans choked the chicken controversy. Why is there controversy? It ain't no controversy. You choked the chicken, and everybody's happy. There we go, Rhonda. New Orleans, I think they've got to get a quarterback. And this is where I think Sador goes. I think Sador goes right there at 9. Now, that's the big wild card, I think, is do people believe, what the hell? Have we just lost this altogether? Newhouse fam keeps coming back and making different accounts. Oh, Lordy. Newhouse family laugh out. Lola who? This is my only account. Okay. It takes all kinds to make the world go round, even trolls. Even trolls, you got to have some of them. Where was I? Bears, this is going to be the next heartbreaker. I think Hampton goes to the Bears. And so then I say the top 2 running backs are off the board. And I think that we get Teat McMillan. I think that's how it goes. Thoughts, everybody? Newhouse fam, not you, this Bobby person, laugh out loud. It makes more sense for Steelers to trade up to the top 10 than the Cowboys since they need a quarterback. Well, see, real fan, this is where the first question you have to ask to yourself is, do you believe that Sador is worthwhile to be your quarterback in the first round? That's the real question. Because just drafting a quarterback to say, we got a quarterback, there's a lot of teams that have drafted quarterbacks that just have not panned out. You can pretty much look at almost everybody. Cleveland has drafted a quarterback with the exception of Baker Mayfield, and they let him go because they didn't think he was the right one. Finding a quarterback is not easy. Ask the Washington Commanders. They literally took, RG3. They ended up getting, Donovan McNabb they traded for. They ended up getting Alex Smith. They drafted, he ended up dying with Pittsburgh. But they tried over and over and over. They had eyebrows. They had everybody and their sister. There's no guarantee that any of these quarterbacks that are there are going to be any good. So if you're now saying we're trading up for Sador, you've got to really believe that he is what you think he is and that he's going to be really good because it can set you back. Who the F is Bobby? Okay. Haskins, that's it. Dwayne Haskins, right. Haskins, they drafted him in the first round. They ended up drafting, of course, RG3 using 3 number ones. Typically, teams get screwed over when they trade up and miss. San Francisco lucked out and they ended up getting Brock Purdy, although now, Brock Purdy wants more than $266 million. Can't beat to see how Jerry screws up the Cowboys draft. Well, here's the thing that really bothers me. a lot today is, for the Eagles, I hate you guys. I hate you guys, but I have to respect you because you guys do smart things. Getting Cam Jurgens signed right now after year 3, you've locked him in here now because he's getting paid basically $5 million on the cap this year. You're paying him today in today's dollars, but you're not actually paying for it till next year. That's literally like getting 0 interest or 0 payments for a year. If they had waited another year, probably. Lovely Linda, what's going on? I don't hate you, Linda. I think you're one of the best fans that are out here. I appreciate all the support. I'm just saying I hate the Eagles because, you guys are good and you're doing things the right way. We're sitting here still waiting for Micah Parsons to get paid. And here it is, Cam Jordan was there a year before. That everybody in the top 15, I believe in Micah's draft, has already gotten their second contract. And we're sitting here waiting for Micah Parsons to get his. It's ridiculous. What else do you need to see? The Eagles, you don't hear, this guy's asking for too much, or, we're going to have to use the 5th year option, or, we're going to have to franchise tag him, or maybe he's not worth it. You don't get any of that. You just wake up and boom, here Cam Jordan just got an extension. What? It's like, oh shit, what? And we get, Tyler Smith, we're going to exercise the 5th year option. It's like, of course we are, because we're not going to get him done till next year. Mark, I'm 53. I apologize saying fat. I do believe walking and saying hello, having conversation. And I tell every Mets fan to F off. All right, Philly D. Appreciate you, buddy. 53. You're a baby. You're only 53. Damn. Bobby's looking for a sugar mama. Oh, snap. Okay. Good luck on that one, because those are few and far between, bro. And see, here's the thing. You get a sugar mama, you got to bring something to the table. You can't just say, I'm looking for a sugar mama. Are you a piece of eye candy? Are you like, what does Bobby got to have a woman that wants to pay his way? Seriously. You got to look good, on her arm or stuff, or hanging out. What you bring to the table, bro? Pay that man, Micah. And so here it is. We shouldn't be talking about Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons should be done. And we should be working right now on Tyler Smith to get him locked down on his contract. But here it is. We're sitting there waiting. And we still have the controversy of Micah Parsons doing a podcast. You know what's crazy to me? What's crazy to me is I think about Micah Parsons' podcast. It's not even an hour long, and it's on Tuesdays. On Tuesdays, which is the off day. Now, I remember when Tracy used to work with United Way, Tuesdays were the days that they would always end up doing like a community build. They'd have an NFL player and different things like that. That's their off day. That's the day that you literally have to recover. You got the game on Sunday. Monday, you go in, get treatment, watch film. Tuesday is the one day a week that you have that you can do whatever you want to do, right? Because basically, when training camp starts, they own you until the end of the season, which is January or February. I would rather have Micah Parsons doing a freaking podcast than going out and getting drunk or going to the strip club or doing some crazy ass shit that some of the guys do. You're going to literally tell me that he's at home at his house online for the world to see exactly what he's doing. It's not like it's something undercover where we find out, the Dallas Police Department arrested Micah Parsons for such and such. It's like, really? Now, I guarantee you everybody's in here has got some other kind of job and stuff, right? You got a job, right? Does your job say when you're off that you shouldn't be drinking? Or if you do YouTube on the side, like Game Time Brian, oh, well, you're not spending all your time for the Postal Service, Brian. How dare you do a podcast during your lunch or in the evenings? Come on, man. What are we sitting here talking about? What are we sitting here talking about? We had Randy Gregory. I would have rather him do a podcast than smoking weed and getting busted. Wouldn't you have rather had that? Let's stop that. The Pivot Podcast featuring former players Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, and Channing Crow. Yeah. I think, Katarina Kiss, I think you got it right. I think Momo, he must have taken like something of Momo's. But then again, Momo, he just hates everything. He's Mr. Negativity. Very rarely do I hear, oh my God, I'm just so happy about that. I'm not going to watch Super Bowl because it's too commercial. Come on, man. What do you mean? Oh, the combine, man. That's just ridiculous. It's like, okay, it's glorified workouts. Why you got to hate it so much? Come on. Next time I do something with Momo, I'm going to ask him what is the thing that he really and truly likes. Something that actually makes him happy. Dirty Sanchez, I'm a truck driver, though. Uh-oh. Truck driver. Oh, shit. So you could be in any kind of city. Ooh. Momo's just jealous because he got beat by the Eagles 55-23. Oh, man. All right, good people. We've had some fun here. We've talked about Micah Parsons' podcast. We've talked about Shannon Sharpe being sued and getting kind of buck wild. We've talked about stinky bazillion butt lifts and saggy bits in here. I think we've covered just about everything. I think we covered just about everything. Boo to anyone who supports Parsons. Well, then, Momo, you might as well leave now because you got a lot of people here supporting him. Momo's mad at the world. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Leo, how are you not going to show up on 420? How are you not going to show up on 420, bro? I believe we're going to get Tet at 12. I hope so. Saggy bits sounds more politically correct there instead of saggy titties away. Come on, Lola. Woo, boy. Yeah, we grown folks here at this channel. All right, good people. We're going to go ahead and roll up out of here, and we'll keep you up to speed with all the news that is the Dallas Cowboys. And it's time for us to turn out those lights and let those puppies hang. And ladies, you know about the old balls too. Yeah, they kind of hang too. So you ain't by yourself.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.